There we go. Hey YouTube, Matty3012. We are here with Logan Nicholson. He plays at our locals. He's actually only been playing for what, about 6 months, 8 months, give or take.
Yeah, 6 months.
All right. So he hasn't been playing for very long, and we had a couple spots open up in the vehicle when we went to the Indianapolis Regional. So I hollered at him and said, "Do you want to go?" So this was actually his first regional, first big event of any kind. Now the biggest event before that you had gone to was in Evansville.
Yes.
And what was it?
It was for Worlds.
Oh yeah, that Worlds tournament. Yeah.
It's probably like 25, 26 people.
All right, so that was the biggest event that you had been in. So going into this event, the Indianapolis Regional, which had 270, I believe,
Yeah, about
280.
Yeah, it was higher 200s.
Okay. You were not expecting anywhere near that.
No.
So what were you really expecting going into one of these events?
Well, I thought it was going to be like maybe 80 people, maybe 80, high 80s, close to 100 at the most.
So you didn't realize that people actually travel to go to these things? Like, you really thought it was just going to be like local people?
Yeah, because I had a lot of people, they told me, it's more nationals where it's a bigger event.
Nationals and
YCSs. It's just something
and
anyone can hop into. So I was like, yeah, it should be about 80 people, and then...
yeah, then we started talking numbers on the way in there, and I was like, yeah, I've been to some of these that were 500 people, and you kind of stopped in your tracks. And
yeah, I was like, oh boy.
So what's it like playing in a tournament with that many people? Like, were you overwhelmed by just the crowd?
I was actually more comfortable knowing that, there's nearly 300 people here. Nobody knows who I am. Just kind of was like, I'm just going to play my deck and have fun, and that's what I did.
There you go. We were talking about, just a second ago, we were talking about vendors. Like you were saying that you were expecting it to be like a smaller event, and so I guess you were probably thinking it would be like in a store environment, and you would have, of course, the store buying cards. But we got there and there was 3 vendors.
Yeah,
4?
There
3
were,
vendors.
You could see cards laid out everywhere. People sat down with their collections out. Had 5, 6 people looking through different collections, buying things, and that was totally new to me.
Yeah, you weren't expecting anything on that.
Nope.
Was there any card that you couldn't find? Like, did you go into the event trying to find anything?
Not really. I went in looking for Cosmics and...
Cosmic Cyclones?
Yeah, seemed to find those pretty easy, and that was about it. I was pretty much just ready to go, ready to have fun.
Ready to play?
Yeah.
So, what kind of cards did you see that kind of caught you off guard that you were like, I didn't even realize that existed? Did you really look at... You didn't spend much time at the vendors?
I didn't spend a whole lot of time at the vendors. What surprised me more were, prices. Prices were really up and down.
Like, there were some vendors... There was one vendor there that had binders that just, everything was really cheap.
Yeah. And
you could get just, anything that you wanted. It wasn't really, the high rarity stuff, but it was basically anything you wanted.
Yeah, it was alphabetical. It was really good.
Yeah. And then there was a couple others that were... more priced for the meta and stuff. What do you know about pro players, quote unquote pro players?
Do
you know any of them?
Not really.
Not really.
I talked to a lot of people that did a lot better than me.
Yeah.
And I even played a couple people that ended up doing really well. And I mean, I don't really know if I would call anyone a pro player. It's just more seems like they have more experience.
Yeah. Did you notice the people there that were wearing jerseys from sponsors?
Yeah, I did.
What do you think about that, having sponsors in an event or in a game that you've only been in for 6 months? So
I think it's impressive. I started playing YuGiOh and I thought it was just a fun thing, and then I'm like, wait, you make money off of this?
Well, I mean, they don't really make money off of it, but yeah, they are able to get sponsorships to send them to events and stuff. And you're eyeballing me playing with your. I'm playing with his mat down here, and he keeps watching me do it. Did you get to play any sponsored players? Or any of them wearing jerseys, I guess.
I did not play anyone. I played a kid that was wearing a World Championship shirt, but I'm pretty sure that was like Dragon Duels.
Yeah, so that was the Finch the third, the kid that played ABCs at Worlds. You actually got a chance to play against him. How did that game go?
Game 1, I didn't seem to have a problem. He went first, made a board, I got over it, it was no problem. Game 2, he opened ridiculous, man, like Masterpiece, Double Trident, Magic Deflector. It was like, I nearly scooped. Then game 3, it was a battle, but he came out on top, so I went, 1-2 with him.
That's cool.
Didn't seem bad.
Of course, I mean, it was a Dragon Duels kid, so like.
Yeah.
So
that was what was weird.
Like, it was still like you got to go against somebody that played at Worlds. Like, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Now, did you know that you could actually qualify from Worlds through regional events?
No.
No. Oh, we're surprised about that. So they got a new system where as long as you do well at regionals, you gain points towards your Worlds. And the top 2 people in North America with the most points can actually qualify for Worlds. Now that you know that, I mean, do you want to take regionals more seriously, or is it still just something you do?
Definitely, any event I go to after that, I'm going to take a lot more seriously. I went into that one more with a mind state to just have fun, because coming from playing a 12, 13 people locals to seeing that, I don't want to say I went in knowing that I was going to get beat a lot, but I definitely went in prepared to have fun either way.
Yeah, like you went in kind of more, I want to learn from this experience, right. Which was another reason why on the way home I tried to talk to you quite a bit, because you seem to have a little more of a grasp on actually wanting to try to do better at these regionals. Also, I made you talk to me so I didn't fall asleep driving home. That sucks.
This is a tough drive.
So knowing what you know now, what changes do you want to do as far as I guess like your approach to some of these events?
Approach to events, definitely work on side decking a lot more. I had never really, with playing at locals, I never even really sided, and then going to something where I felt I had decent side deck cards. I just think I went about putting them in my deck the wrong way. I ended up drawing a lot of them and not having, the main deck plays on top of that. And, whenever you side in cards and don't have your actual plays.
So when you're going to a locals and you're only playing like 4 rounds, sometimes 5.
Yeah.
And you're really only worried about 1 or 2 matchups, you only side deck 1 or 2 games.
Right.
Okay. So you really feel like you didn't have enough experience with side decking itself, or not the right options in your side deck?
I think I had the right options, but I don't think I had enough experience with what exactly to take out when siding. And I know that's more of like a personal preference, but still I didn't feel like any of my cards didn't perform well when I sided in. I just felt like from seeing, other people's deck lists and opinions that the cards I had on my side would help.
Deck list, that's another point. When I got into the car, I had already printed out my deck list and my son's deck list. You didn't realize you had to write out your deck list?
No.
No.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense thinking on it. Like, hey, you should probably write this out so they know at the end of the day that you have the same cards in. But I just didn't. I didn't think about it.
You didn't realize that you would have to do that.
No.
So we kind of caught you off guard whenever we were like, yeah, here's our deck list, and you were like, wait a second.
Yeah, it's like, where do I get one of those?
So it was actually a good thing that we left as early as we did, because I gave you more time at the event to actually write out your deck list.
Right.
So our drive was 3.5 hours.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel about traveling that far to a regional?
I thought it was 100% worth it. I had an awesome time. Slept the entire way there.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
You're welcome.
The ride back, I'm pretty sure I stayed up the whole time with you.
Pretty close to it. If you didn't fall asleep very much. But
yeah, it didn't feel like that long. Totally felt worth it.
So you're saying it felt worth it for the for getting up early and the drive and everything was worth it.
I didn't even sleep.
But now we're talking about, was it worth it? I mean, also it was $20 to enter. When we split gas was $15 a piece. No, it was $12 a piece.
Yes.
For gas, and then we ended up having to park in one of the parking garage, which was another $25 that we split. Then you had to eat, and then we ate on the way home. So like this kind of rolls into quite a bit of money, plus whatever spending money that you want to buy cards and stuff. Like, is it worth it when you're looking at spending $150 plus 7 hours driving?
For me personally, yes. Coming from somewhere where you might see 9-10 people that enjoy doing the same thing you do. And
so as long as you have a group from your locals.
Not even that, just being around that many people that enjoy playing Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just a really cool feeling. It's cool to get to know a bunch of people and see what everyone else is playing. And from what I learned, yes, it's definitely worth it. Now, would I go to that every single weekend and pay that much? Probably not.
Okay.
But for, a couple times, like, yeah, it's totally worth it.
For a once a month, kind of once every other, every couple weeks, something like that. It's not really that bad.
No.
All right, because we got a back-to-back weekends in October. We got another Indy and a Louisville. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we could go back-to-back weekends. Would you knowing that it's going to cost you around $150 a weekend plus, like however long you got to drive? Would you be willing to do back-to-back weekends, or is this something where it should be? Probably. Okay.
Yeah. It just like now, if it was every weekend, no. But the two back-to-back weekends, that'll be cool.
Cool. All right, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you going with us. Like, we had a lot of fun. I appreciate sitting down and giving me the interview. All right, guys. Subscribe. Comment down below. Show us how much you love us.